the last 10 minutes to try and get the Wi-Fi working. And what we eventually discovered in our Norwegian cabin here is that, what was it? Upstairs 1,
Wait,
2,
you just
3,
showed
4.
everyone the password?
Showed everyone
Dude,
the
they're going to all hack our Wi-Fi now.
Upstairs 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't work downstairs, and you'll never guess what it is downstairs.
I don't think having different passwords for the upstairs and downstairs Wi-Fi is a good idea.
I really do like.
Just for the record.
I'm just going to tweet that because we gave no notice or anything, and I just went live. So I'm just going to tweet and share.
Oh, yeah.
Can you just talk about where we are while I do that, and then I think we desperately need to open the wine as well.
Yeah, so Norway, Hemsedal specifically. It's not that far north, is it, from the bottom? Because Norway's like a very thin, long country. So we're still kind of down near the bottom end. But you can't really see out the window behind us. But yeah, it's largest ski resort in Norway. Is that correct in saying that? Or a very, very large ski resort in Norway.
It's a bit disappointing, really.
It's
Maybe we'll talk about that.
Well, there's not enough snow, is there? Like, because at least half of the runs are shut in our experience today.
But it was like that 2 years ago too. I think it was very, very similar.
Yeah, I feel like winter got later because we used to go morning from the Gold Coast. It's definitely not snowing there, is it? I feel like we used to go. You used to go skiing in winter, winter British person, December, and it could be like right at the start of December, and you'd have absolutely no problems whatsoever. And now, I just feel like here we are, like 3 weeks deep into December, and quite literally like half the resort is closed because there's not enough snow on it. And yeah, I don't know, maybe a sign of things to come, and we have to start going skiing in February.
That said, I know you weren't here in January, but when Charlotte and I were here with the kids in January, there was copious amounts of snow. Well, when I say here, when we're in Oslo, so we didn't come up to the mountains.
But another month is,
yeah.
But that it used to be unquestionable snow at the start of December, and now it's super hit and miss if you're going to get snow. So yeah, maybe it'll be like the February holidays now when we start doing the snow thing.
I've got to put this on Blue Sky now too, don't I?
I'm Mastodon.
I've already done Mastodon.
You're literally just going through all the social platforms to post.
I know, it's actually gotten really hard. And if you try and automate it and do all the platforms together, people get really... Well, they get upset because...
Have you found a tool that can reliably do that across all of them?
No, I think Elon killed
either.
the API as well. What's your Blue Sky handle?
Oh, geez, here we go. I have too many of them. It's this
no,
one.
it's just live with Scott.
Live.
Yeah,
it's scotthelm.bsky.social.
Underscore?
No.
No underscore.
Because I was early enough on Blue Sky to get my name and not have to put an underscore there.
Oh, here we go. You are there. Do I follow you? Post. All right, I'm done.
Better do.
Okay, now I can open the wine. Anyway, so we have come to a cabin in Norway. So I think this is now week 4 for Charlotte and the kids and I travel. So we are pretty much ready to
go home.
Get home and stop whining and dining every single night and actually get a little bit of consistency as well.
It sounds like a bad thing to complain about, but I know exactly how you feel because we did 4 weeks in America this summer.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you just ultimately miss home is kind of the core of it. You want the normality of life back.
I think there's a bit of it as well in terms of the impact on your diet and your livelihood and everything
Eating
else.
out 3 times a day. It's not.
Yeah. At least we're snowboarding here. So this is day 2 of snowboarding. So
So yesterday I burnt 2,800 calories.
What's a calorie?
I was just going to say, which apparently you guys don't even know what calories
What's
are.
that in kilojoules?
What's a kilojoule? So
I think it's something a little bit less than a calorie.
People watching, does anyone else use kilojoules? Kilojoule? Yeah. Isn't that in like science experiments or something?
It's like everyone who uses Celsius and kilometers an hour.
We use Celsius. For temperature. We don't use like freedom units. So what did I do today? Oh, today wasn't as good.
We do have content, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a little bit of a slow start to get to there. But this is late too because it's Monday, isn't it?
Thank you. Yes.
That's the other thing that happens when you travel enough. You start to lose track what day of the week it is.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care whether it's
the
clean
wine
or not.
will sterilize that.
So I would have done this days ago, but I thought I'll wait until I'm here. Cheers. Wait till I'm here, and then at least we can do this at a time where it suits as well. Because like we got here 2 days ago, we really didn't have a chance to do it. So
it's just chaos, wasn't it? Unpacking and getting ready.
That's nice. All right, so let me do the Let me do sponsor bit first, and then we might jump into. No, you got some stuff. I've definitely got some data breach stuff as well. I've actually loaded a load of data breaches since we went away. Oh, I've got to talk about Stefan too. We had Stefan here.
I've not asked you about that, yeah.
No, well, you can ask me and I'll tell you live.
There we go.
Except all the bad things he did, and I'll tell you about that. Kidding.
Did he conquer any icebergs?
All right, so, well, we can talk about that too. Sponsor. Actually, you were here in January because that was the iceberg thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll come back to that. Sponsor this week is 1Password. 1Password Extended Access Management, which of course has been there many, many times this year already. Secure every sign-in for every app on every device. It's been a big... This will be my second last one of the year, so maybe I'll do a week or an annual roundup when I get home. But it has been a really big year for 1Password, and it's been really good to see them too in Montreal. Have you been to Canada before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Only like in and out trip though, business. Yeah, twice.
Montreal's cool. So anyway,
well, I saw Niagara Falls when I was there. If that helps where I was.
Yeah, that's close.
Yeah,
I'd like to go there actually. Anyway, Charlotte and I were there at Montreal with 1Password doing the President's Cup, and we told you about the hockey as well. Ice hockey. Apparently in Canada you don't call it ice hockey, you just call it hockey.
Oh, it's just like default.
It's implied.
It's ice.
It's implied. It's Canada. It's all ice. Anyway, so they've had a massive year, and they've obviously doing a lot more than just password management these days as well. So go check out 1Password. That will be the second last sponsor announcement of this year as well. So we're on the home run. We probably should mention the Stefan thing now that I raised it. So Stefan, employee, I'd say he's employee 1.0, and Charlotte and I are like 0.1 or 0.2 or something to that effect.
You're like the beta test employees.
I know. We passed. We're upgrading. So we had Stefan in Oslo for a couple of nights. In fact, it was a week ago. So we spent all of Monday last week, and a lot of the Sunday and Tuesday as well. Just it's like being able to do stuff in person.
Yeah.
So it was a lot about just trying to figure out what a bunch of our priorities are. One of the priorities we got, I was telling you this the other day, we're doing a full rebrand on Have I Been Pwned. So it won't just be me with like Microsoft Paint anymore. Doing version
oblong with rounded corners.
I've wanted to do a new brand for ages, and I just feel like I've really liked doing graphic design stuff in the past, but I just could not find enough time to engage the left side of my brain and get it done. I tried Fiverr. I showed you what it looked like. I thought, oh my God.
That also looked like Microsoft Paint.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, except I paid for it. So anyway, we do have a professional designer that's someone that Charlotte knows well, who is Oslo based, and he came and hung out with us for a little bit as well. So we actually saw some of the branding stuff. So we're heading in a good direction now, but it's a much more complex process than what I experienced with Fiverr. Let's just say that. So anyway, yeah, we're on that path now. Then just a lot of prioritization stuff. So what the biggest thing, and you and I spoke a lot about your challenges with Report Your ROI and things like invoices and quotes and all the formalities and complexities where we look at it as, I think, reasonable humans and go, why is it so hard?
Yeah.
So someone's like, I'd like to buy your service, which is listed on your website for $3.95. Could you please send me a quote?
Oh, I knew that was coming.
It's like... It's on the website. What is it?
It's literally on the homepage.
But can you put our name on it? Well, you could print it and put your own. No.
Yeah.
But you've got to put your name on it.
I'm
not going to do that for
I don't understand.
$3.95.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's
but,
so bizarre.
But the flip side, the upside of it, is that it is all automatable because we are very heavily dependent on Stripe. Stripe's got APIs into everything. So we can do this. So
Wait, so you quote automatically though?
Yeah, not automatically, but they're APIs to create quotes. So
okay.
you can create a quote that takes products that you have in Stripe. So product is an entity within Stripe. You can then choose subscription cycles. You can create quotes. It used to be that you had to be on a higher tier to do that, and you'd pay an extra 1% of your revenue or something, or whatever it is. And now they're forcing everyone onto that plan, and I think we just got it for free for a little bit. Yeah, but anyway, so we'll have that, and then you can convert a quote into an invoice if you want. But we have all of these, just this weird matrix of different things. So we've got companies that want an invoice before paying. So okay, well, the problem then is that with Stripe, you must activate the subscription before you can issue the invoice. There are resellers that want a quote for a customer. and then you can do the quote, but then the quote has to be valid for a period of time. Anyway, so
so this is why we just don't use Stripe.
everything that we're doing is automatable because there's APIs and everything. So all we need is interfaces. But I kind of want to get all the rebrand done because we want to get new templates for what a form looks like.
You don't want to rebuild all of that.
I don't want to build it all on the current, 11 and a bit year old model and then rebuild it all again.
Yeah.
So we're trying to push the rebrand along. We're going to have to get someone else to do all the front end as well. And then it's like, well, what client-side libraries do we, like I did everything in Bootstrap and jQuery. So what do we do today? I don't know.
What's the end thing?
So that there'll be another end thing, and I'm just not sure what it's going to be. And I know if I ask online, so hey, are there any front-end developers?
You may as well ask tabs versus spaces. That's another controversial.
Yeah, I missed some comments before. Matt's on the Gold Coast. I saw we had a lot of rain actually on the Gold Coast. I don't think I missed much there for a while. There's Nick 007. There's in Hofgarten, Austria. Yeah. I don't think I've been to Hofgarten. You've been to Austria, though.
Yep.
We're in Austria. No, we're in Switzerland together. That was a different thing.
Yeah.
Snow here is pretty decent. Not wanting to brag. Yeah, thanks, mate. Mitch is there. G'day, Christian Anderson. Any snowboard videos of Scott falling this year? Now, you haven't seen
this. It says failing, but I haven't done either of those things.
Failing,
so
falling.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what I could possibly be regarding.
No, so it hasn't synced to my iPad yet.
Oh no, what a shame.
You and your wife came down the mountain a bit early to do some shopping, and Charlotte and I took all the kids out. And when you take that twin chair on the way home, twin chair to top, come down through the trees.
Via the hotel, that drops you off at the hotel. Yep.
Ari, who's my 15-year-old son now, has properly started snowboarding on this trip. He really only properly started yesterday. He had one day in January and properly started yesterday. And he is actually going really well. He got so stuck in a tree.
Yes.
And while he's
not mentioned that since he got home.
Oh, I got the video.
Okay.
It's on that device. It just hasn't synced. Otherwise, I would have showed you now. But while he was stuck there in the tree, I thought of you. And if this is news to you,
stupid Norwegian trees.
I have I have a couple of videos of Scott getting stuck in trees. So when Ari was there, and he was so stuck that he couldn't reach his bindings to undo them.
That was like me and Tricia or Hafia, wherever it was.
Jeez. You'll it'll make you.
But mine was like a tree well. Like that's how I got so deep in.
Yeah, right. If only there was enough snow here to have proper tree wells.
Yeah.
It's a serious problem in places like Whistler. I remember the kids always had to carry a whistle because if you fall down a tree well, you might actually just disappear under all the snow.
Yeah, that was pretty scary. Oh, I'm glad that I'm not the only person to have issues with Norwegian trees.
You'll love it. I'll show you that later. Why don't we talk about the report URI thing? Well, I find some other content here around data breach stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this a few different times. So I kind of built the project 9 years ago, actually founded the company 7 years ago, and it was free for many, many years because it was, I guess, like how I've been pwned, it was a side project, really. Yeah. It was like something that I built because I thought it would be cool. And then it grew and grew and grew. And I was like, oh, I either need to start charging money for this or close it because it's costing a fortune. And now, 4 months ago, we were looking at it. And it's like it's in the blog post, but like 98% of our customers were on a free plan. And we're literally just like scraping by on the paid customers. And I was like, it's just not working. And we have a $10 a month plan as well back then. And I guess the free plan was enough because like 39,500 people were using that. And then we had like a few hundred paid customers. And we got to the same kind of impasse. So I was like, it either has to stop like completely or we have to change it because it's just not working. We can't grow. I have a backlog 1 million miles long. We couldn't even afford to bring on another developer. And I was like, it just isn't going to work long term. So I made the announcement. I was like, look, the free plans have to go and we'll keep the $10 a month tier there. And my argument was, if you're using the service and it's not giving you enough value for $10 a month, $9.99 a month, then
there's not really anything in it for you.
It's obviously not that important or valuable to you. But at the same time, I was like, we can't just keep allowing, 98% of our traffic and our processing is free customers, and then the tiny little 1.something% at the other end are paying. So I was like, it has to change because there's a million features that I want. We need at least 2 developers on board now. And we need the income to sustain that because we just couldn't, there's no possible way we could have afforded it. And I knew that some people would be unhappy. And then I forgot all of my years of experience on the internet. And I completely underestimated how unhappy people would be.
Without obviously
Jeez.
naming names, but can you give the audience some examples of the
Oh,
sorts of
man.
feedback you got?
Well,
So, and just to be clear, so this is people who had something for free for a very long time,
Yep.
and now you've said it's still there, but it's $10 a month, or
yeah, exactly that.
and they can stop. You didn't make them pay, did you?
No, of course. Like it's like, and we gave like 100 days notice or something as well. So like if they had time to evaluate their options and decide what to do. I mean, well, I've showed you a couple of them because I was like, what do I do
it's
with
one
this?
Of those, let's get some beers and read the feedback.
Yeah, man. I mean, like half of the emails I can't even repeat because I think it would age restrict this broadcast. But yeah, people get really nasty. And well, I showed you a couple of them. You saw it. It was like really nasty stuff. Just, I've been using this for so many years and now you're taking it away. It's like, F you, you be like, and I was like, yeah, I was just like, oh my God. It's like, wow, you're pissed that I gave you something for free for like 6 years. And now I'm like, look, I can't, I'm not really in a position to keep giving it away for free. I just need like a tiny little bit of money. But yeah, it's pretty weird and tough in a way because I was just like, well, no one ever said anything positive about it. And I understand that no one's going to come forward and be like, ooh, thank you for taking away the free thing. But at the same time, people get like super nasty about stuff like that.
It's the aggression that gets me. I've said so many times before, it's aggression that you never get face to face. Like in all our travels, no one has ever come up to either of us in a conference and spoken anywhere
in all caps
like any of that. Well, I think we know what it would sound like. It'll be a Trump speech, So, but yeah, it just never happens. So it's bizarre. All right, so
we're still doing it.
Yeah, you're doing it anyway.
But that's ultimately, we just don't have a choice. It's not sustainable. It would be if we don't make any more changes or improvements.
Yeah.
But now we've got, he's not on the website yet, but we do have a developer now because he's in his probation period. And as soon as that's complete in January, he'll be on the website as well. And then it's really also, cool.
Like, you don't have to be a charity as well. And I think this is one of the issues that we've dealt with have our own pain stuff as well. And to be clear, like, we have no intention of changing the free bits that are there because we subsidise them well enough in other areas. But frankly, like, we and you are under no obligation to provide an online service for free to everyone at our own cost.
Yeah.
And I think most reasonable people can see that. And I know even that the times that we've increased prices on Have I Been Paid, I honestly actually can't think of a negative reaction to that. It's really? Normally,
I guess increasing. So for someone that's already paying, actually, I guess increasing.
Well, they're already paying, but the last time we increased prices, we this was like August, I think. We didn't change the entry level price, which is where I think most people and the least amount of actual revenue is. And
gotcha.
The higher prices, I think it just goes into the big machine that is corporate enterprise. And the only time we get questions, it's usually like resellers. It's like, customer customer wants a renewal quote. Also, please provide justification for the price increase.
Inflation.
Like, no, I want my money.
But at least for price increases, people get that over time. I guess it's like an infinite price increase to go from $3 to $10, right? It's
anyway. Some data breachy stuff. I'm trying to remember when I did the last video. So today is a Monday. What is today?
Is it a week?
No, it's the 23rd. So that would be the 16th. Yep. I must have done it on about the 14th. So what have I done since then? I did have a bit of downtime in the Airbnb in Oslo. So each time I go to Oslo now, we usually try and get an Airbnb. And it just feels a little bit like you're living there and you're not... It's not like, good morning, sir, what's your table number? Like every single morning.
So you can go to breakfast in your underpants and not get looked at funny.
Yeah. There we had a few. So Tibber. Never heard of Tibber before. Apparently they're a German electricity provider. 50,000 records from them, all in the press. 56% of those already in Have I Been Paid. I got another one here, which is a Senegalese payment platform. Who's your favourite?
It's a pretty small country, though.
Who's your favourite Senegalese payment platform?
Would they have what we class as a large payment provider there?
Well, apparently they have one called Yonima. Now, that's an E with a little acute on the top, so I may have pronounced it wrong. But first Senegalese data breach, welcome. So Have I Been Paid?
Woo, we're cool now.
It was only 36,000 unique addresses. 52% of all those were already in have been paying, but it was kind of like, it is a breach. The data's out there. I do have to draw the line somewhere. Like if it's 2,000 records, the amount of effort based just on the impact and the usefulness it actually has to the community. Yeah, it's hard to justify. That was that one. There are some more interesting ones here. So what was that? Senegalese. Oh, lost my thing. Where'd it go? One in particular I think is quite interesting. In fact, that's going to be the two last ones to talk about. Are quite interesting. Geez, how many did I do here? Well, Hopper Media. No, there's even another one before that. MC2 Data had 2.1 million customer records. Looks like a market under different brands. Look like some. Oh, geez, I said there are SHA-25 password hashes. Sorry, they're assaulted SHA-256 password hashes.
Oh, so they were secure.
60% already never been pwned. Hopper Media, 24 million. That was a big one. Hopper Media, no one really knows what it is. It's like there's this breach. It's attributed to Hopper. Oh, you're in Hopper
Was
Media.
that the huge one?
Yeah. You're in that.
I got the email from you. I was like, I have no idea.
But the data was correct, wasn't it?
It was.
And I realized I was doing a talk at Microsoft that day. So I was at Microsoft on Tuesday last week. And I was showing them how my old Pfizer email address, which I haven't had for nearly 10 years now, keeps turning up in all these data breaches. And then suddenly the breach like I'd loaded that morning, I was like, shit, no.
It's me.
Well, but it had, I think it had my Pfizer email address. And I think it had my my phone number too, which wasn't great. I think that one also, was it that one or another one, had the telco. Oh, which one was it? Yeah, it was telecommunications carrier. No, you know what? This one, so many breaches. This one, my personal data was in because here it is, right? Like that's in the tweet. That had my telecommunications carrier.
Code on that credit card? Just write that down.
Thanks, man. So yeah, that's and no one still knows what it is. And a whole bunch of people are like, hey, send me the data and I'll try and figure it out. So that's very laborious and. Yeah. We'd kind of gone through enough people. I think this was the one you're in, wasn't it? Because it had did it have your telco? Or did I give you the other one?
You gave me the other one to check my data.
Oh, okay. All right. BitView. BitView is a video sharing platform. It sounds like someone owned them in the midst of a live stream or something to that effect. So it was a very, very public incident.
Oh, no.
63,000 unique email addresses, 27% already in have a been pwned. So that wasn't good, particularly not when you have private messages in there too. And comments, but the comments are from the public timeline.
Never read the comments.
But the comments tie back to identities. So if you're there under... If you're there under a random identity abusing Scott for putting the prices up and report you're right, and then suddenly a data breach discloses who you are against the thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's not great. So there was that. That was BitView. German gift store, Schenk You.
That sounds like a crime.
It sounds like several things I can think of, but 237,000 records. There are also salted SHA-256. 54% already in have been pwned. And then the last two, which I thought were kind of the most interesting for a couple of different reasons. So one is Young Living Essential Oils, which appears to be, I think the correct or more polite term is multi-level marketing. There are less polite terms. You know what multi-level marketing is.
Yeah, but where did that come from?
So, well, they sell essential oils, but their business model is MLM. So they have some people at the top. Let's call it colloquially a pyramid. Some people at the top of the pyramid.
I see now.
And they do quite well. And when I was, I guess, a couple of interesting things with this. I tried doing disclosure. I just could not get a reply. I tried multiple people on LinkedIn in tech executive positions. I tried the published email address for reporting it. As you can see here, it is on a popular hacking forum. I quote tweeted Hackmanic that shared this. Incidentally, I saw Hackmanic, saw them. I met them in Dubai the other day. All the folks there, really good people. So,
of course it's in Dubai.
Oh, but they're Italian. They're Italians in Dubai. They're actually really interesting. I'll tell you more about that later.
Okay.
So anyway, multi-level marketing, and as I was Googling around trying to find more info about Young Living, there are a lot of articles in there about how I think there's some class actions or something where people within the MLM scheme, let's say they're towards the bottom of the triangle, they had to spend $100 a month in order to be eligible to then get the cascading from lower down the triangle back up. So it was something like the vast majority of people were making less than $1 a month. And then there was a tiny fraction that was just absolutely raking it in. Tangential to the data breach. Just a shame I couldn't get a reply from anyone there. And then the last one, which was kind of interesting, in part because Niall was there as well. So there was I think it was Elasticsearch instance of French citizens is the term that was used. More than 90 million rows, 28 million unique email addresses. And it came from various different places. There was actually one of the attributes in the JSON there indicated the file that it came from. And they had name, IP address, physical address, and then depending on which source it allegedly came from, there was also partial credit card data. Last 4 digits, card type, I think expiry as well. 70% already have been pwned, but the interesting thing in there is I loaded this and then Niall Merrigan sent me a message, and I think his exact words are you hacking me? Now, of course, Niall Merrigan works for Microsoft, which is probably one of our closest friends, and he's a very good InfoSec guy.
Both work for Microsoft.
Both work for Microsoft. But anyway, it's like, he's Irish, he lives in Norway, and he's in the French database with a IP address from London.
Of course he is.
Oh.
It's always VPNing, Niall.
Well, go figure. But here's the other weird thing. He was in there against a record that indicated it came from Pinterest. Now, I've never heard of a proper Pinterest data breach. And I went to Pinterest and I was like, I wonder, because I do have a Pinterest account, and I put in my Pinterest email address on the registration form, and it's like, no, this one exists already. And I put in Niall's, and then I had to let him know he now has a Pinterest account. And then he's like, oh, it could have been much worse. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Could have been.
Didn't we verify a potential Pinterest breach like years ago?
Was it Pinterest? Oh, that's interesting. But then he never had an account with them.
Because you always... So I use like company name at scotthelp.co.uk. So generally, if I'm in a breach, it's pretty easy because I tag... I can look at the email address and it's never generic. I'm sure it was Pinterest, and it was years ago.
Well, regardless, Niall, certainly before this incident, did not have an account with that email address unless they purged it or something like that. Christian Anderson's asking, he said, what happened to NDC Security Oslo? Were you supposed to go there, but I do not see you as a speaker anymore? No. So I wasn't supposed to go there because it's next month, and a week from now I'll be home and not going anywhere for a while. You're going to do Security Oslo, aren't you?
Yep, I'm there.
So it's got, I know it's not the same, but anyway, it's got to be there. It's better. I will be, the next NDC I have coming up is NDC Melbourne at the end of April.
And I can't make that one.
Yeah, it's a shame. But anyway, so yeah, I'll be at NDC Melbourne. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet. I'll figure something out. Someone else here.
Oh, we should push the Hack Yourself First workshop at NDC Security.
Oh, yeah. So if you are in anywhere within the region and you can get to NDC Security Oslo, it's about the middle of Jan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Scott will be running our Hack Yourself First work. You're not branded. Where's your T-shirt, dude?
I know. I came in it, though. I brought it.
When you arrived on the mountain, you were wearing that.
But yeah. 20th to the 23rd of Jan.
So if you're anywhere near Oslo from the 20th to 23rd of Jan, Scott will be doing Hack Yourself First.
And it's a good event.
Sisunanaki, I'm saying that terribly. Might have been a bit too small to get on your list, but there was recently a breach at Valeo, which is a large Finnish employer. I think around 55,000 employees, name, SSN. That would be very small, and I haven't heard of it, so it hasn't turned up yet. Milford, good evening, Milford.
Social security numbers there is a big issue, like other places.
Do they have them in Finland?
Well, they said it was in the breach in the comment. But there's some places where everybody knows the equivalent of your social security number, and then some places where it's mega secretive.
They have different impact in different places, don't they?
Depends what you can do with it, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, there's that. There are 2 at the moment that I'm going through disclosure on. One of them would be a very familiar US brand name, but it's not the best time of year to drive people towards disclosure.
Yeah.
So,
You're busy selling stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, is it the best time? Because maybe it's like everyone's at Christmas. Let's let them know now about the data breach. Like maybe that is a good time.
I guarantee on like the 24th in the evening is when you should publish something if you don't want people to see it.
Well, that's kind of up to them. I would like them to disclose, but I think in both these instances they might take a bit of encouragement for disclosure. Christian is saying it is a workshop. Hexel First is the workshop. Well worth it. Yep. Get along and do that. And I mean, we still run them at companies where it's normally you go in these days.
That's most of it now, to be fair, isn't it?
Yeah, I got busy. Also, I'm on the wrong side of the world for most of it. So yeah, we do still run them where Scott goes in person and it's 2 days and it's just your organisation. And between the two of us, I think between the two of us, we've probably done it like 150 times. Because I know I did it more than 100 times with companies. Yeah, and I'm sure you've done it dozens of times. Yeah, which is really cool. And for some of the biggest brands,
it is so cool looking at some of them. You just think, oh, there's like this like Australian dude or this English dude, and we're teaching people. That always blows my mind.
I know.
Those are always pretty cool.
We do have lots of moments for like, maybe to start wrapping up on like a positive Christmas cheer note, but we do have lots of moments where like, how did we end up here? Because all of it started
by accident. Is my answer to that. Because did you ever sit down and build Have I Been Pwned and say,
I know,
I'm going to build this really worldwide known data breach service?
But even for like years before that, I started blogging a few weeks before Ari was born, and it was
He's 15.
I know, he's 15. I started in September 2009, and one thing led to another. Now we're here in this like just ridiculously epic cabin. I'm going to post that. Your son just did a video walkthrough, which was epic. He's got such a good accent too. It was very
proper
David.
English,
it was very David Attenborough.
Proper English.
It's like, and here we have the snowboard room.
Yes.
So I got to post. But yeah, we're here in this amazing place, and I remember meeting you when I was doing that workshop in the UK. It was it 2017?
I was in Oxford. I remember you bumped your head on the roof
2016.
in the hotel at breakfast.
Yeah, I'm nearly 2 meters. That's a common problem.
In like old English heritage buildings.
But it was a very similar situation for you. It's like you had a corporate job, you really didn't enjoy doing that a lot, and then it doesn't feel like next minute. It certainly didn't at the time because everything took forever to have these choices in life. But you do look back on it and go, geez, that escalated.
And without a plan or direction, that's the bit that freaks me out. Like no plan or direction. I never sat down. Same with security headers, right? I never thought, I'll build this thing and it'll turn into this awesome thing that everybody likes. It was just, this sounds cool and I want to build something cool. So I'll build it and then see if anyone uses it.
I suspect you have more plan now around Report Your Item. We do.
Oh, for sure.
We've sort of had this discussion, and as you and I have, and one of the things that we're talking to Stefan about a week ago is we said, look, this is...
When you're putting food on someone else's table, that was the thing that freaked me out the most with taking somebody on at Report Your
Because you got responsibilities.
Well, yeah. Like if I screw it up, he doesn't have the ability to put food on the table. That was the thing that freaked me out the most.
A lot of Charles, my conclusion is, and I don't know if this is the right term or not, but so look, for us, this is a lifestyle business where we want to keep doing all the stuff that we do that's free and community-centric without someone saying you have to monetize everything. We want to be able to go away for a month, or maybe in the future we'll go, maybe we want to go and live in Oslo for 3 months or something like that. And we want to be able to do that without being tied down and having responsibilities. And I just don't want anything that jeopardizes those two things to happen. And you were there as I was going through that M&A in 2019, which was, thank God, fell apart. But we would have just ended up in the absolute opposite of what we have now. And I don't know.
You'd have a job.
Jesus Christ. No more wine. All right, we should wrap it up there because we're now reaching Christmas
we should go see our guests.
Christmas Eve. So for those of you on the other part of the world, like at home where it's already Christmas Eve, we're now 5:45 in the evening on the 23rd. So, look, let's wrap it up here. I'll do the next one from home. I feel like I'm getting home at terrible o'clock Sunday morning. So I might push this one. I will keep doing this video every single week. I never miss a week, but sometimes it's just a few days later. So. All right, awesome. Thank you, folks. Enjoy. Have an awesome Christmas, and I'll see you before the New Year.
Gosh, yeah.